My name is Naresh, okay, and I'm a co-founder of Roomlane, which is a sustainable furniture. And today I met Prosper. He brings in his skill level to get most of from the person to whom he's interviewing.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to yet another exciting episode of the Online Prosperity Show. I'm your host, Prosper Taruvinga, and today we have a guest whose journey is as rich and diverse as the grains in the timber that he champions. Now, Naresh, how are you doing today?
Wonderful. Thank you very much, and glad to be here today with you.
Fantastic. Well, the pleasure is all mine. I know this has been a long time in the making, but now we've actually finally got to have you on the show. Now, for those that are meeting Naresh for the very first time, let me tell you a little bit about this gentleman here. He hails from the vibrant streets of Delhi, and he actually came by way of New Zealand, and now he's making waves in Melbourne in the furniture market there. So he's a visionary behind Roomlane, which is a company that's not just selling furniture, but is also on a mission to combat the fast furniture crisis with sustainable and affordable solutions. And Naresh's story isn't just about business, it's about resilience, adaptability, and a relentless pursuit of that which you value the most, especially the purpose that we are all here to pursue. Now, imagine having to uproot your whole life across all of these continents and then facing all these unforeseen challenges and still finding the strength to carve out a niche that not only serves customers but also respects the planet. Today we're going to be diving deep into his experience, his hurdles, what he has overcome, and also the wisdom that he has gathered along the way. So whether you're an aspiring entrepreneur or you're a sustainability enthusiast or just someone looking for inspiration, I encourage you to stay tuned because Naresh's journey is a testament to the idea that with determination and a clear vision, you can turn adversity into an opportunity that will make a lasting impact. Now, Naresh, I could go on and on talking about your journey and everything else that comes along with it. You started off in Delhi, in India. Tell us what life was like for you growing up and what were you sort of exposed to that now influences the work that you're doing today?
Right, that's great. Thank you very much, Prosper. I think you are summarized better than me. And that's great, and hearing somebody else, the way narrating the story, I think that is skill you have it. Great. Okay, so coming back to my childhood, I grew up, born and brought up in Delhi, and just like any middle class family, and I'm the youngest of the six brothers. And so, right when I was a teenager, I always thought, why the people move outside? Why? What is the when I hear some stories, watch some Bollywood movies or some Hollywood movies, when I hear some story that some younger person has moved from his home and gone overseas. So that was the little bit up in my mind, but I didn't have any role model back at my home because all my siblings, they were all elder to me. They're all settled. They're living their own life, and they all went to their schools, colleges, gone into the job, got married, staying together in a one big house. My father has built a very big house, but at young age, I decided no, I need to move out. And in my early 20s, I had a very comfortable job, walking distance from my home, earning good money, and at that time. But I decided I had to explore overseas. So I had opportunity to go to Bombay. And The problem for me to make a decision was simple, but my convince my family was a difficult one, because whatever I was earning in daily walking distance from my home, no rental cost, no cooking, nothing at all, and the 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 pay cut was going to Bombay was less than 60% of my earning, what I was earning in Delhi. And then how my family was saying you never left Delhi and how you're going to survive with the small money, and where you need to look after yourself, you have to rent the place, you need to cook food yourself, all those stuff there. So that was a hard part for me to connect my family. But I must say, give a credit to my parents, by both mother and father, especially my mother. She says, okay, this is what you wanted to do. Go ahead and do it. But this place is for you. Whenever you want to come back here. So this is where I said I was inspired by the people in the world who were travelers and what they have done, what they have learned. And just coming back to this thing, what was it was a good decision or bad decision? I will say that was the best decision in my life. So, you make lot of calls there. They're good and bad, but I will call it that was the best decision I made in my life. If I have to write my
Absolutely.
book, I must say that was the decision which I made it.
Absolutely. It all starts somewhere, when that journey begins, for here in any pursuit, because what you were seeing there was no longer enough for you. And as you said, you were seeing other people being, doing, and having, and also going to all these different places and things of that nature. Now, your parents would have, like you said, were obviously afraid that you were not gonna do well in Bombay based on the salary that you're gonna get and
Yeah.
things of that nature. What was it like when you arrived in Bombay?
That was great experience because I started to live in a shared accommodation with all the youngsters, and so start living with them. I know I've got a budget of that budget only where I need to pay rent, and again I started with a couple like a backpacker. But that time there were no backpackers. We never heard about backpackers. The kind of a small lodge where 3 or 4 boys are sharing one room. So I started to share that room, and I don't know how to cook it, and the cooking facilities was not there. And but again, Abu used to buy out and find out what are the cheapest restaurant which can serve us the food, like morning breakfast, lunch, and in the dinner also, and so that I can meet my expenses in my salary. That was a great learning for me because I wanted to sustain myself. I don't need to borrow money from my family, even though there was some money offered to me. Okay, this money keep it with you and use it if you need to use it. But I never touched that money, and this is where I starting to learn. And then I grew up with a lot of new friends because everyone who I met over there, they all come from different part of the India, and so meeting different people, different perspectives of life. Some people are positive, some people are negative. But again, I learned I don't want to be a negative person. I want to be a positive person.
Absolutely. And none of these, experiences, you didn't even find them within all your other five brothers, or, none of them had all these worldly experiences, so that you could learn from them.
Yeah, no. There was no inspiration from them because all what I will say, and so what happened there? There is a kind of a culture. That time I'm talking about in 70s, and in any country, there's a culture is there. You are born there. All you need to get married, you know, raise few kids and everything, and this is the whole thing. And you want to have a stable government job, and this is what people were doing it. And but that was a lifestyle cut into a box. You are in the box, nothing else you can do it. This is the what daily you're waking up in the morning, going to work, coming back. There is no challenge in the life. It's like a routine. And which I saw my father was doing it. I saw my brothers were doing it. And Then in my brother, when they got married, their wives were not working, so that culture was not there. So coming back to what, again, I will say what I learned from that, I don't want to be like that.
Mm.
My learning with that, again, I don't want to be like that. I wanted to accept the challenges. Whether I will win or whether I will lose, who cares? But I need to carve my own path.
Absolutely. And obviously, once you've got purpose and you heed to that call, yeah, the world will definitely start conspiring to make sure that you get that, on that journey. Now, Bombay was not enough for you. You ended up in New Zealand. Tell us what that transition was like and how you ended up in New Zealand.
Yeah, okay. So from there, I got opportunity to go to Middle East in Bahrain, and that was my again my first overseas trip. I never flew in the aircraft, so I had opportunity to go to Bahrain. I went to Bahrain in 80s, and so I got a small job to learn, how in the foreign countries thing. But Bahrain was like a more like a, like very close to Indian culture, and small country, 600,000 people. Uh, so I learned a lot of new things from there. I think my shape, leaving home is one thing. Bombay taught me a number of things, but coming to Bahrain taught me another thing. Leaving the shores now. I left home first, but now I left the shore. I left the shore, gone overseas, and there again I met number of different people, different culture. It is more like, like different culture. It's more like a Arabic culture, and I learned from that culture also there. Then I joined a company which is again a small company, and learning for me over there was that again there were two brothers. They are my age only, younger, in their late 20s or maybe early 30s, kind of a thing. The kind of the business they were running, they started with selling the small batteries, and from small batteries they took the agency of Sharp Electronics, and that Sharp Electronics they made it to compete with that time the bigger brand name is Sony, National, and Sanyo. So they became a household name in Bahrain. So that was my learning. I used to sit down with them and see how they are working, and that brought another thing which I was saying, what I want to not to be, what I want to be. So what I learned from Fareed, the elder brother, the younger brother was just, he was just, the helping his elder brother. But the entire learning, running the business, sometimes I used to talk to them, have a drinks with them, very friendly with them. And then he told me, okay, why you are asking so many questions? I said, I wanted to learn your journey. So somewhere down the line, it will inspire me. So the inspiration from which I got it to become an entrepreneur, I learned in Bahrain.
Mm.
And then because Bahrain is a country where I can't raise my family. I got married. I got my first daughter was born, and we decided we need to migrate somewhere. We wanted to migrate to Canada. We got our PR approved that time, but there's a delay of year and a half for me to go there. Then we decided, okay, we came for the holidays to New Zealand, and that was in late 1980s, maybe 1990, 89. And so that again a decision of a destiny. So we came for a holiday, and at that time the immigration in New Zealand was so simple. People will not believe it. All you need to have a university degree and a job, and you are in the country with a PR. And so somebody told me, okay, this policy is going to change. Today you qualify, and because I've got a university degree, I can get a good job. And I got a job offer from a furniture company. And within 3 days, my PR is done.
Wow.
So now tell me, Prosper, what you will do now? Decision going back to a highly paid job in Bahrain or being in the country, in the new country, and I got a job. That is great thing. Okay, it's okay, fine. Let me do it. So I have resigned from New Zealand while working in Bahrain. And I told my bosses, they were very good friends. They allowed me. Okay, I told them this is the opportunity. I'm getting it there. Canada is too cold, so we took the opportunity to stay in New Zealand.
Absolutely. Yeah. I would have stayed myself. And now that you figured yourself out, and also it was conducive for the family, like you said, you wouldn't want to be moving from, hot temperate to freezing cold Canada. What were the first
Yeah.
days like in this new furniture job that you were now in New Zealand? What roles were you doing, and how much involved in the business were you?
I got a role in as a management accountant. So that company, they had a three or four small factories, and they got five showrooms. New Zealand is, Auckland is a small country, less than 1 million people over there. And so I joined the company. He gave me a furnished, apartment, a car, and everything. That was great. The beginning of the story was fantastic. It is, you can say is you're watching a movie, and where I land in a new country, and somebody was saying, "Okay, fine, I'll make you comfortable. Here is a furnished apartment. Here is a car. Come and join my company. I need you." And this is all happened there. But then he he knew I'm coming from Bahrain, and he have got some funds with me. And this guy, he turned the chapter of my story over there. And then again he said, "Okay, can I borrow some money from you?" So I lent him some money, and that was, of course, the agreement was done through some known, the lawyers over there. And now the chapter shifted like day and night. The moment I gave him the check, the loan agreed amount, this guy disappeared. And now I kept on working there. And I learned again the business was doing good, but this was mismanaged, completely mismanaged. That's why he didn't know how to do the accounts. And then again, he disappeared. Then, cutting the long story short, he never paid my wages, and he declared bankruptcy. I lost everything. I lost
Oh,
my job. I lost my money. And but one good thing happened. That again, the destiny, I will say. So one of my lawyers suggested, okay, he hasn't paid you the your salary. Now you can repossess his machinery, as a wages. But you talk to him in a nicer way so that he can write, the all machinery is given to you as this, in lieu of your salary. And I said, what I'm going to do with the machines? I need money. I've got a small kid. Now I need to pay the rent also for my apartment. This guy is not paying my money. Whatever the savings I had, it is all gone. So then again, I saw the opportunity. The business was good, but mismanaged. I said, okay, now what I'm going to do, I started with the two boys because that machinery came to me. And okay, I told the boys working in the factory, there were around 28 people working over there. And I said, okay, two boys. I said, okay, how you everyone lost the job? And that was in 1990. I said, okay, fine. So let us start a new business. So we started to pick up the easy job over there. They were making many things. It's an easy job to make the water beds. So we started to make waterbed, the two boys in the factory. And this is where I decided, okay, so let me give it a go for maybe 2 or 3 months, see whether we can make it, work or not. That's the only, the challenge which I put it to myself. The thing starting to happen slowly and steady. It doesn't happen overnight, but it started to happen. I will give a credit to that. My learning in Bahrain through free was that again always give a good customer service. So what happened there? We had a few customers, but we gone out of our the comfort zone to make them comfortable and deliver the things what they wanted. And slowly the word of mouth starting to happen. And now again cutting down the journey ups and down in in New Zealand in the furniture industry. So what happened there? The waterbed became history in 1994, 1995. So by that time, we have already gone people's home. So we shifted from waterbed to make the sofa sets, bedroom furniture, and all those things. And at the peak of my journey, I will say, I always say, when I was standing on the mountain, I always say my first mountain was that again when I left Delhi to came to Bombay. The second mountain was then when I got a job in Bahrain. Second mountain, slightly higher mountain than Delhi and Bombay and now Bahrain. Then came to New Zealand, a mountain again, started my own business as an entrepreneur. So now I start climbing the different mountain. At the peak of that one mountain, I looked down. I had 10 showrooms and 49 people are working for me.
Wow. Congratulations. I mean, you literally were handed over this, this business. Somebody else would have been like, oh no, what am I going to do? I still need my money. But you actually took the learnings and made use, of the opportunity that was presented in front of you. Now, fast forward to what you now have. You literally are now working with, you've started another business here, Roomlane, and you emphasize on sustainable, affordable furniture. First of all, tell us how this came about and what it is that you're doing for the people in Melbourne.
Yep. Okay. So when we moved to we had that successful business for 25 years. I've got two daughters. They moved to Australia for the higher studies, and that's great. And now they were both successful doctors. They both are plastic surgeons. And we knew the girls are not going to come back to New Zealand. So we also decided let's go and stay next to the family. So both girls were working in Melbourne. So we moved to Melbourne in 2012, and that time we said, okay, this is close to the family. That was the way we wanted to spend most of our time. And then we decided let's go back and explore the world. We traveled for 2 3 years, and but base was Melbourne. Traveled all over. Then I had an opportunity to go to India as a Australian delegate with Malcolm Turnbull. And this is where we started our consulting company, where we said we will consulting business was that again to help the Australians company they want to go to India, or Indians company they wanted to come to Australia. So that small projects we were picking up, we were doing a great, for me and my wife, there were only two consultants, but the COVID happened. The things starting to change, and then there is the gap there. So just after COVID, my wife decided, why don't we start the business again? And that's my wife's idea. And I said, okay, fine. What do you want to do? And my girl said, no, you don't need to work. And that time I was 70 years old. And I said, okay, if you want to do it, let us do it. But we will not be a furniture store. If we are doing something now, it has to have a purpose. What could be the purpose in furniture? Then we studied, how much, the fast furniture is ending up in the landfills. You take the in the numbers, I can provide the numbers also there. The millions of tons of furniture is ending on the landfills, and which is costing money to the councils and costing money to the everyday consumer like you and me, because they pick up the furniture and they dump it over there, is damaging the planet and the costing us. So we decided, okay, fine. If we are going to start a business, so we need to study. I studied for some time, and so what kind of a business we can do it. And we decided we will be doing it only sustainable timber furniture,
Mm.
and to win the confidence of the Australian consumers, will start with the Australian timber, because Australian timber has got a brand value, because in Australia they will not cut down the corner. They will have the sustainable practices to harvest the trees, which is already in a very well planned system. They have it, and this is where we decided to start with the Australian timber. Then I introduced the Indian sustainable mango wood and acacia wood.
Mm. Absolutely. I mean, obviously, And congratulations. I mean, you're entering in a market that is dominated by mass produced furniture. And you literally doing something that actually makes a difference to the environment and things of that nature. But now that we're getting into what you actually do, let's explore the term fast furniture. I mean, it's becoming more prevalent, but it's going to be what we're going to be talking about moving forward. For our listeners, can you explain what it means and why this is a big, big concern?
Okay, the fast furniture is again they are made on machines. Machinery is not bad. Machinery is always good. So fast furniture is again to cut down the cost, because if they make in the solid timber, the raw material cost is high. So somewhere down the line, somebody has invented to make the particle board. So particle board is the sawdust coming out from the residue of the tree, and so they used to make the paper out of that one, but now they said, okay, we can compile together as a board, and with that board we can make the furniture which is going to be in a flat pack, and shipping will be easy. But again, the life is not, they don't have a good life long, the utility of that. And the problem in that one is that again, once there's a lot of chemical they use to have a custom wood along with that again particle board, and that chemical is not very good for the families, for the childrens and everyone. So people breed that thing as people don't know. And then again, once it has gone into the landfill and it doesn't absorb, the chemicals are polluting the Mother Earth. So it looks very cheap. Okay, I understand because there is a cost benefit for that. But again, on the same token, the same fast furniture, if anybody buys, they need to assemble it. There is a difficult pain point for assembly. Okay, Australians are good in assembly. That's great. But again, if they move from A place to B place, they cannot disassemble and reassemble again, and it loses its value after maybe 2 3 years. That's why you see all those fast furniture ends up in the roadside. The
Yeah,
simple
absolutely.
definition of the fast furniture is that again, what you cannot reuse it and which you cannot be repurposed it.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, even in my area, every second day somebody has just thrown something out there. Especially when people are just getting started. Yeah, they just want to do some real cheap furniture, put it in their living room, and when they sort of grow out of it or want to move, they usually never get to move with it. Now, with Roomlane, you're emphasizing sustainable yet affordable furniture. How do you maybe balance quality and cost while also ensuring environmental responsibility? Because, like you said, every other shop is just selling flat packs. They're easy to ship, they're easy to create, and people can just use and dispose of them.
Yep, that's great question. Thank you, Prosper. We thought about that one there again. As I say, we are not doing this business now because we need to do a business. So when we had a purpose of, okay, if we can make few families go away from the fast furniture, but then why people should come and buy from us? Why people are not going to Harvey Norman, Nick Skelly, or the big boys? They are also selling a certain ranges, which is the sustainable furniture. And now what we did there, okay, what we need to do if okay, let me give me 30 seconds. So if the fast furniture is cheap and solid wood is expensive, let's say example of a coffee table, fast furniture coffee table is $300, and solid wood coffee table, the buying price is around $600, double the price. But when you put the margin on that one, it will become $1,000. So the gap is becoming very big. I said, how could we have a $500, of the coffee table, we can sell it for maybe $700, not what $1,100 there. So how do we do that one? So we have to do lean management and no stock or low stock holding. So we don't carry any stock, no inventory cost with us. and all the stocks has to be delivered from our supplier, which are based in Melbourne. And this is where we don't have a stock holding cost. We don't have a extra leg to move the furniture from the supplier warehouse to our warehouse and then going to the customer. So there's a lot of touch points. We are removing those touch points. And then again, we're going to lean management. We don't have a big overheads. Me and my wife, there are only two employees over here. Rest we got outsourced from overseas.
Absolutely. Now, Naresh, I mean, when you first introduced us, you spoke about how you had this incline and you just jumped onto, transportation and ended up in Bombay without any mentors. But this time around, you're navigating the complexities of starting a sustainable business model. Have you got any mentors that you're working with currently?
No, I will say I think I will. I am. That's a good question. Again, a lot of people they ask me who's my mentor. I said every day person is my mentor. I see the people are coming in there. I listen to a lot of the people, and so I'll go back to my first, thing when I told you in Delhi. So what I don't want to be, this is one thing. That is my mentoring to myself. And then again, now when I see a lot of people, youngsters, they with the AI coming on board, and a lot of youngsters they are doing great thing. So social media is great thing which I never learned it there. So for me, I'm learning every day what I want to be, what I'm better than yesterday, what Naresh was yesterday, it has to be better than today. So that mentoring, I'm doing the mentoring to myself, and because I learn from everyone.
Absolutely. And obviously, to some other people, they might be thinking you're not just stopping people on the street and learning from them. This is actual customer feedback that you are taking into consideration. And you did mention when you were in Bahrain, you learned how to actually resonate with customer feedback. Can you maybe share a memorable piece of feedback that has actually reinforced the mission that you're now on in on Roomlane?
Right. Okay. So there are I will say that there are two or three. Right. Starting from the Bahrain. In Bahrain, what happened there when in India there was no color television, and the color television was introduced in 1982, and then I suggested my the bosses Farid and Ruben. Okay, why don't we start sending the things to India? I said, okay, people can come and buy and they can take it, straight to India. I said, that's a challenging thing for them. So why don't we create a in-house a service? All they need to come and buy from us, and we'll make all those shipping agents and everything one-stop shop. All they need to come, give their home address, pay us money and the charges and everything. So we will ship the TV back to India, any port there. That was my learning from over there to give a good customer service. And all of a sudden, we were sold out all our TVs, what we had in stock. And then again, we need to reorder, pre-book it, all the TVs there. This is the good learning for me as a good customer service. Okay. And now going back to in New Zealand. So when we I saw the opportunity, because we never went out to get the business because the business was coming to us. So one opportunity came to me from the rest home person, and this rest home person came to me and he said, okay, fine, looking for the recliners. I said, okay, why you want this recliner? What do you want to do with that? He said, okay, I've got old age home and I need the people who can easy to get in, get out. I say, this is not good for you. I'll go overseas and source one thing for you and get it out for you, and then there's no commercial discussion with them. I went overseas, got a recliner made for them and given to them, and after that he has got 9 rest homes there. All the 9 rest homes, the entire recliners has been replaced by my company from there.
Fantastic, and thank you so much for that. Now, You are now collaborating with local craftsmen, you're using local timber and also using a network of local suppliers. How do all these partnerships really enhance Roomlane's offerings and commitment to sustainability?
Yeah, see what happened there now in Australia. There is a uh, there are a lot of stockists, importers and stockists. They are, there is a this trend is going on for so many years. So people bring it stock and they carry the stock and they supply to the big boys. So you talk with the big boys like a Harvey Norman, Nick Skelly, and they import a little bit of thing. Like a Harvey Norman and 40 Wings, they never import. They always buy from the local suppliers. So this is the policy which in Australia is happening. So that gives us an opportunity to reach out to those big importers. They're importing thousands of containers and carry the stock with them. So when we decided to launch our business, so I it took me maybe somewhere around 3 to 5 months to reach out to those suppliers and convince them. Okay, because tomorrow Harvey Norman 40 Wing, they pull the plug out, what they're going to do it? They are doing great. So I need to convince them, these people, they don't know how to do in they never had a website, but they never needed a website. So I have to convince one supplier, okay, to go there and okay, find and give them an idea. And finally, after maybe 2 3 months, they decided. So I started with the one supplier and then the second supplier came on board. Today I have around 6 suppliers on my website, and everywhere I went there and just talk to them why I'm doing it and what is the benefit for them. And I don't need any credit terms from anyone because furniture industry over here is very notorious where people ask for the credit. I said we don't need any credit because I don't need to have a financial cost burden on me. I need the best prices from you, and therefore for them this is a great thing. A cash buyer coming to them, and all they need to supply me their stock report so that I know I can update my website. And this is where we started. Now I've got another 10 suppliers waiting in the line which I want to launch this year.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I mean, in today's fast-paced world, patience is often overlooked, but yet this is exactly what it is that you're bringing to the table. You know, you're not doing fast furniture. You're taking your time with these suppliers, and you're making sure you've got the right product for the right, clients. How has this practicing of patience really benefited the long-term vision that Roomlane now has?
Yeah, okay. So Roomlane, so because the current environment in Australia is very challenging because interest rates are very high, and there's a lot of buyers are not there who are buying the properties and everything. And then the second part was that again, which was never witnessed to the social media network, social media, and so there are 2 or 3 factors which was affecting us, to take off. The way we saw we took off in New Zealand with the small, the waterbed, and then we went to the sofa sets and everything, and it took up after a while. It took up again, ups and down. So for me, answering that question is that again we know I want to do. I gave myself 5 years. Within 5 years, I need to put a young CEO, so who can run the company, so that I can give him the entire, the business to him because we don't need to make big money. We it is down, business is down. Collaboration, we need to do it, and for that matter, I need to find out the easier way to reach out to the people who are buying the houses. Okay, so that we can have a collaboration deal with the multiple people who are touch point for those families. Either he's going to be real estate agent or a property developer or mortgage broker or any other people who are helping the people to buy the new home. If we can make the collaboration deal with them, so I don't need a social media then. And then again, we know we are dealing with then we need only few customers. So that's if we give a good service, the word of mouth will grow the things for everyone.
Absolutely. And speaking of home buyers and things like that, you've got incentives like the
Yeah.
first home buyers furniture package. Can you maybe walk us through what this entails and how people can
Yep.
get their hands onto this?
Yep. The first home buyer package. I did a bit of a study in all this, the fast furniture shops, the kind of the A-Mart and Fantastic Furniture. So they are making around in the 3 rooms packages there maybe around 3 to 4 thousand dollars. I said okay fine. I said okay fine if I set up a first home buyer package as a sustainable furniture, and in this one I'll just walk you through. In the living room you got a sofa set, you got a coffee table solid wood, and you got a TV unit solid wood, and then you got a dining table and the 4 chairs, and then you have a queen bed, queen mattress, and 2 bed set cabinet. There are 13 pieces are there, and we decided if we put up a normal markup, what is the industry markup is to 40 to 50%. I say we do the markup of 20%, and then again, what is the value it will come to that. So what I asked the consumers when I did a little bit of my market research, the people are thinking, okay, fine, maybe $5 or $6,000. That may be a good thing for shifting from buying from A Mart to the fast furniture, take the fast furniture out and buy the sustainable furniture. So we came out with the magic figure of 4,999.
Mm. So for 5,000, somebody can furnish their new home, and the thing about the furniture that you sell is it's like you say, it's not fast. So people might go in and purchase cheaper type of furniture, but you're gonna have to replace those pieces as time goes
Yep.
on. Whereas with the sustainable furniture, those would be timeless pieces that you're
And
gonna have.
the same thing, same coffee tables is solid wood. Okay, you don't need any assembly, maybe small assembly of legs only. You take the TV unit, it's a solid wood. And the same
Mm.
thing as the bedside cabinet, solid wood. So if even if after some time you said, okay, you're moving into, you're downsizing something there, it can be resold. There is a market value for that. But if you buy the cheap, the coffee table, after 2 3 years, it's having a wear and tear also there, and then again you can't do anything. It ends up on the roadside.
Absolutely. And there's one thing about flat pack furniture, right? I seriously believe the instructions should also have at the back of it numbers to a psychologist and a divorce lawyer, because when you're trying to put together the furniture with your spouse or with whoever you will be, there will be a lot of arguments, a lot of fights, and things of that nature. Whereas in Roomlane, everything is just, as you
Yeah,
say, very minimum, assembly required.
yeah. So just look at this one there on my back. You can see this bookshelf. This is the three-tier bookshelf. This is fully assembled, one piece. All they need to unpack and ready to be, adore your home.
Absolutely. And obviously, with time, with kids growing up and everything else, they're leaning on the shelves. All of
Yeah.
those plywood, like you said, it just breaks and it starts being wobbly and
Yeah,
doesn't look.
this is the solid mango wood.
Absolutely. Now, what would be the best way, Naresh, that people can maybe get to either see the showroom or see what it is that you've got online?
Yep, they can visit 24/7 on our online, which is again www. That's www.roomlane.com.au, and then again they can visit our showroom, which we are open Monday to Friday, 11 to 4, and which we are in Thomastown on Settlement Road, and the address is Unit 38, 324 Settlement Road, Thomastown. And then again we are open for the appointment meeting on Saturday and Sunday. And if any customer they wanted to come there and send us an email, and we got our emails as cs@roomlane.com.au, or they can send us a the WhatsApp message. We got a WhatsApp phone in our showroom, which is 043 uh, 0430. Okay, I'll repeat again: 0430 510 410.
Absolutely. I'll make sure that all those details are in the show notes below so that people can definitely click on and check out what it is that you've got to offer. Now, Naresh, I can't thank you enough for the time that we spent, I mean, on the call today. From the time you introduced us to 20-year-old young Naresh who really wanted to explore the world from Delhi all the way to, Bombay and things like that. But it would be remiss for me to not ask you this question now. If you could reflect on that journey that you've just given us, what sort of advice would you give to your, younger Naresh who was staying in that backpacker with all the other boys in Bombay? Maybe you would have thought this is not. Is this all there is, or maybe the voice of your family telling you to come back home became louder? What sort of advice would you give that young man?
I will say always be bit adventurous. Okay, at a young age, you can take the liberty of to be adventurous, and always try to aim something which you haven't done it and try to solve the problem. If you solve the problem, then you will, money is a secondary matter, money will follow. If you solve the problem, be adventurous and leave your shores and go out and jump in the sea. When you jump in the sea, if you are swimming in a swimming pool, you can learn a little bit of swimming, but you will not learn unless and until you're in the open sea.
Mm, absolutely. I mean, like right now, you might come across some people that haven't left Victoria, and go out, explore the world. You never know what you might learn and things of that nature. And you are absolutely right. Because we get paid in direct proportion to the value that we bring to the marketplace. If you're not giving any value to anyone, why would anyone choose to pay you? Now, for our listeners and for anyone sort of considering sustainable furniture, what is it that they should look out for to ensure that they're actually making environmentally responsible choices?
Okay, now they don't need to buy from Roomlane. They can go to, there's a plenty of choices there. But only thing they ask the question when they're going out, but what is the material they are buying from that? It is a particle board, it is a custom board, and ask them how many, is there any certificate? There is not the chemicals, which is the harmful chemicals in that one.
Okay.
Okay, ask those questions there. In going to, even you go to any of the A-Mart and bigger shops also there, and a lot of smaller shops also there. Ask this question: is there any harmful chemical used into those products? If you
Mm.
get answer for that, and then you make an informed choice.
I like that because when we were growing up, there were naughty kids that used to actually sniff wood glue and they will get intoxicated with that. And I can only imagine if you're bringing that to your own household in a closed environment, that is what you're just going to be smelling and anything else that comes along with it. So thank you so much for that advice. Not only is it good for the environment, but it's also good for your own
On
health.
health. Yep.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thank you so much for sharing your inspiring journey and also the impactful work that you're doing with Roomlane there, Naresh.
Yep, wonderful. Thank you, Prosper. It is so nice, to talk to you. And I mentioned again in the way you described me in the beginning. Oh, I said, who's this person?
Well,
And
you only got to tell us the story. I mean, all I just did was put the skeleton on, and then you put the flesh on the human. So I really appreciate your time today, there, Naresh. And for those that are watching or listening, if this conversation really resonated with you, I would want you to consider sharing this episode with someone who might, first of all, benefit from Naresh's insights and courage to leave the shores like he has, or somebody who's into sustainability and entrepreneurship. Okay, it's just going to be a small step that you could do to inspire meaningful change and do your part in making this world a livable place for the rest of us. And if you received this episode from a friend or a loved one, be sure to subscribe to the Online Prosperity Show, where more enlightening discussions like this take center stage. Until next time, I want you to remember something. Today and together, we can make a difference one conscious choice at a time. Bye for now.